4th.
Yeah, this is the day 4. I think this is the first ever coffee hustle.
Yeah. This is like a 30% hustle. I'm not even sure you can call it a hustle. It's like a shuffle.
It's a proto-hustle.
It is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the last Q&A of PAX Prime 2015. Let's do it.
This is such an intimate affair today. I feel like we should just sit on the edge and everyone should come up.
No, it's going to be PA storytellers.
Yeah. We should, yeah. What's that?
5 questions.
Live questions? Robert would kill us.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, it's true that the last PAX, what was it? East? They all blend together. It must have been East, right?
Yeah, well, for us, there's just a single continuous high-pressure PAX stream.
Yeah. I was going on to some stage in some city.
On the earth.
Yeah. And our questions hadn't arrived yet. And so we were like, let's just take questions from the audience. And when Robert found it, he was like, don't ever do that again. Like,
all right. You're the boss. I hired you to be my boss, I guess.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know how it works. What is your favorite PAX, and why is it PAX South?
Why is it PAX South?
And why is it PAX South?
There's sort of an assumption there.
This is from Quentin Graham in San Antonio, Texas, which explains virtually everything.
Yeah, that's fair. My favorite PAX, I mean, I like parts of all of them. I like this one because it's right next to my house.
That's convenience itself.
Yeah, but the other side of that is that Robert gives us like 20 minutes to get from here to the Westin to the expo hall.
That's my cardio.
Oh yeah, I've met all my fitness goals.
No, here's the reality: is that I used to get in trouble like choosing PAXs, right? Especially between East. It was a very classic sort of rap beef.
East and West,
right? The best coast. The best coast was
East Coast.
Yeah, but and then I was stabbed in an alley, and I decided that fomenting that beef wasn't a good idea. So
you were never stabbed in an alley.
One time, partial stab. I saw someone else stabbed in an alley, and I was very empathetic.
It's not even the same. I like Boston for the convention center.
Yeah, well, they're all rad. Yeah, all PAX shows are rad. Boston is rad because the convention center is basically like a spaceship.
But there's nothing around it.
Exactly. Also like a ship.
Yeah, like here you can walk out and eat food. And if you walk outside in Boston, you just freeze to death and die.
Yeah, and become food for the local fauna. Right. So it's the opposite of eating. Let's be very clear. Being devoured by beasts.
Not the same.
Is the anti-eating. This show, this is where it started, right?
This is where it started.
This is where
we live here.
We established the template, like the PAX template. And the culture that is PAX happened here. And that's what gets transmitted to every one of these other venues. So that you can go to PAX Australia, where they had no PAX, and it still feels like PAX.
Feels like this.
So trying to choose the best PAX, there's features, right?
Yeah, you kind of have to, when we go to South, I love the Riverwalk. How many people here went to South? Wow, a lot of people. Yeah, that Riverwalk is beautiful, right? Like all the restaurants and the boats. And then, actually Melbourne has something very similar. That sort of river area with all the restaurants.
Yeah, with the bridges that go over it, and the bridges are covered with interactive sculptures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have casinos there, which is pretty great.
Right away.
Yeah.
But they all feel like PAX, and there is something great about each of them. But the culture that sort of was established, like the fractal algorithmic version of that culture was generated here. And so I love this one a lot for that reason.
Yeah.
Right?
So the last time we were in Australia, we decided to go to one of these casinos, and we're not gamblers really, like either of us are big gamblers.
No, the song The Gambler is great.
Love The Gambler.
Yeah, but
we don't actually gamble that much. And so I wasn't really going to do anything, and you gave me some money. You gave me some cash. You're like, let's gamble. Here's like,
well, yeah.
You gave me like $100.
Well, here you go, kid.
Yeah. And I made like $500 at blackjack. It was insane. I've never done anything like it.
No, this was ridiculous.
Like people around me stopped playing blackjack and were just betting on me.
No, this happened.
Yeah.
And this is scary, right?
Yeah, it was
But
really bizarre.
But you kept making them money.
Kept winning.
So it's like, but it was, I mean, I don't know what the etiquette is on that at all, because I don't spend a lot of time in gambling halls.
Yeah, they were putting their chips down in front of me, and I was like, do I
Is that
get
my
their money? Like,
And-
I don't know.
And then they put the winnings on those chips, and then they would just take them, and then they would leave some. It made no sense. I couldn't parse
Oh,
it.
and then the blackjack thing. So there's a little sign next to the dealer that had like a pot that was counting up, and it was at like
Like a progressive pot.
it was
And
a couple $1,000s.
Yeah, and it was on a royal. It was like on a specific combination of cards. It's like the best kind of super blackjack.
Yeah, I asked the lady, I was like, "What do you have to do to win that?" She's like, "You have to get a real blackjack, which is what? It's a jack and
Some other
an
card.
ace,
Yes.
right? Isn't that what it is? I don't know. It's like there's like a true blackjack." And she's like, the chances of it happening are so slim that if you bet a little extra, you have to put like a token on this other little
You
thing.
get like $10,000.
You get like thousands of dollars. I'm like, oh, I don't want to have to bet on that, though. That's crazy. The next hand she dealt me a true blackjack. I swear to God. Everybody at the table was like, oh.
No, the earth cracks open.
Yeah.
Lava.
All right. What's your favorite memory from the show so far?
This one here?
I assume so, yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I went and did this drawing in 3D or like in VR thing. Did we decide how to say it?
Okay,
The Vive,
so
the Vive?
what do we think? Do we think it's the HTC Vive?
Vive.
Is it really Vive, or are you fucking with me? Okay. You know what, though? Let's stick with it. Vive.
Anyway, I got to go in the Viv.
No, Vive, a fragrance for men.
So I was in the Viv and I drew a fruit friend.
The Volvo. It's Volvo.
No, that's not even close. So I'm in the vulva, and I drew like a 4-foot tall fruit friend in VR. Like he was there. It was awesome.
Wait, so this is the power of a god, right? This is like to create life.
It is, yeah. So that was definitely the highlight for me so far, I think.
Yeah, I saw something really, really interesting over in the Indie Mega Booth. There's a game called Keep Talking, and I think Nobody Explodes. Does that sound right? So get
No one
this.
dies.
Yeah, no one dies. That's it. Maybe. I don't know. Go take a look at it. It's when you get to the Indie Mega Booth, it's on your left. You'll see people inside the VR box. And so there's that part in a film where a person is like, they're in front of a bomb, but they're like a civilian, they don't know what to do.
You got the phone.
Yeah, they got the phone, it's like, hey, gotta help me. And then, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then they have to talk to somebody on the phone, like the bomb squad person, and then they're trying to tell them how to deactivate it. Well, that's what this game is. Inside the VR, that person is looking at a bomb that has these wires over here and like some switches.
The timer.
And a timer. And the other person who you're playing with, like your co-op partner, has a manual. And that's, like the manual is their game peripheral.
So they're trying to walk you through like how to disarm this thing, and you're cutting wires, and
it's like one of the modules in the bomb is like 4 of these strange symbols, and so they have to try to describe to you which symbols these are.
that's pretty good.
Oh, I don't know. That's a really, really cool idea. I think you should go check that out if you have a sec. Back in the olden times, people like Safety Monkey and Bat Jew would appear in the strip and occasionally post on the website. What was their relationship to Penny Arcade, and where are they now? It's sort of like the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah, I mean, they were just our friends. Alex is at Microsoft now? Is he there?
Yeah, I think he's doing service over there. Safety Monkey works downtown.
Yeah, I mean,
doing IT stuff.
I just saw Alex yesterday. Like,
yeah,
they're still our friends. I guess they're doing good.
Yeah, they seem all right.
They seem happy.
They're still alive.
Play a lot of War Machine.
Yeah. Is there a game you would be horrified to find your children playing, even as an adult?
Like if the child was an adult and I was horrified to find them playing it?
I think that's ambiguous.
I think that's what they're saying. Like,
yeah.
Is there a game that's so bad that even as an adult I would not want them to play it?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I guess if like he all of a sudden was like, oh, I love Superman 64. I don't know.
It's like, talk to your children about Superman 64.
I can't imagine what he would want to play that would be so bad.
Well, it isn't even like that. It's like I can't imagine him wanting to play something that I would be scandalized by.
Yeah.
But you have to get up
Pretty
so
early
in the fucking morning. You have to get up this early in the morning.
You know what I will say? I'm not a fan of like the free-to-play stuff.
Oh yeah, freemium games.
Like they get into those and I don't care for that. But I mean, I'm not going to
Yeah, it's like, son, have you considered heroin? Like
Yeah, instead it's much easier. What do we have to do to get a podcast for every strip you write? You. I love listening to them in my car on the way to work, and there just simply isn't enough. This is from Brandon in Western Massachusetts.
Yeah, I mean, even I listen to the podcast.
I never listen to them.
Well, it's the typical thing, right? If I do something and it's great, you don't do it, right? That's just how our relationship. We're opposite. Like whatever it is. If I come off stage and say, "Hey, man, that was a great panel," and you're like, "It was bullshit.
It was horrible. We bombed. Yeah,
it was a nightmare. It was crucifixion."
I don't know. What's the question? Oh, podcast for a ship. No. It changes. It's difficult for me. Like when you put the headset on, I don't know. It changes it. Like there's definitely days where it's like, oh, we don't have to make a podcast. Whew. Like we can just ramble for a couple hours and not come up with anything.
We can just do our regular job.
Well, but it's weird because when you have the headphones on and it's been, I don't know, let's say 3 hours, and you haven't written anything, you just feel like an idiot, right? Like,
well, it's one thing to feel like an idiot when no one can see.
Right.
But it's another thing to like painstakingly record every nanosecond of you being
of your failure,
right?
Yeah, and we've done that. Like recently, we recorded a podcast for
it was
what?
2.5. It was
2.5 hours of podcast that did not result in a comic strip. We just deleted it.
No, it just. I mean, hang on a second. So if there was a podcast that was just a conversation about stuff and did not consummate, right, in the production of a strip, would that be okay? Well,
all right.
The next time we won't delete it. Then next time I'll activate it. I'll put it in the game. Tell me more.
Long red envelope. I love PAX. I've only been able to attend one. But lately, I'm usually just watching the live stream these days. Thank you so much for doing that. Anyway, more than once, you guys have alluded to the possibility of pulling back on your direct involvement with PAX. Why is that? Personally, I pretty much only attend PAX for Mike and Jerry events. So if you think that's what the fans want, I can tell you at least one fan of yours wants more, not less Mike and Jerry and Acquisitions Inc. Action. Explain yourselves. Yeah. Kevin, Salem, Massachusetts, just moved.
Hey.
Good to know.
Well, that makes me feel like a cool person.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not so much that I want to pull away. It's I don't want to get in the way.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I don't want to get out in front of it. And also, when I walk around the show and it's doing great. Everybody's having a good time.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if it's working, I should step away. Right? I feel like that's functioning.
Yeah.
I can go over here and make something else.
Well, and I know like over the years there have definitely been people who don't want to attend PAX because of us specifically. And I understand that. The comic is not like the show, right? Like,
no.
We have a comic that is really bad sometimes because we're bad people a lot of the time.
Evil.
But, we've tried to make PAX this place that anybody can go to and feel comfortable regardless of our involvement. But there's always going to be people who are like, the fact that they're there at all means I won't go. Maybe I don't care that much about them, but like I want people to feel like they can come, and if that means that I have to take a couple steps back, then I would do that.
Yeah, it's no big deal. Hi.
Hey.
No, it's this one here. It seems your children are into many things that are solidly in the PA world of activities. Have they shown interest in anything you have no experience or interest in? I have a 16-month-old, and I was wondering how you approach that. Growing up, my dad was very much a follow-play sports guy. Yeah, tell me about it. Who never had any interest in the sci-fi geeky side of my life. I don't want to do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, we both have 2 kids, and I think we both have 2 very different kids, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
Like the first, Gabe, is just a tiny version of me. So we just play Destiny and Magic together. And then Noah is a jock. Like he likes sports and he likes to hit people.
Well, and you find this troubling.
It's disconcerting how fast he likes to run.
It's like, son,
How high he likes to climb.
Son, that seems like a lot of physical activity.
Yeah. Spend a lot of time going, get down from there.
Right. Well, it's super interesting. Like, for me, Elliot and I are very similar. Like, he's quite right. I mean, we're so similar that a lot of times we can't do the same thing.
Yeah.
We have to do the same thing in separate rooms. And Ronya, like, I have no idea what is going on with this kid. Like, she is, you know how sometimes it's like on American Idol, where it's like at the beginning, it's like, oh, she was always singing when she was a little kid. She is always singing.
Oh, really?
Like those people, like the ones that can actually sing.
Yeah, yeah. Not like me, is that what?
No, not like that. I'm saying like the people on American Idol. But she's like an amazing artist.
Like drawing?
Drawing.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know where that came from.
Not you.
I try not to dwell on it.
Not you at all.
Yeah, I try not to dwell on your whereabouts.
But Brenna
5 years ago.
Brenna is artistic.
She's what?
Artistic.
Oh. She's way crafty. She's crafty like ice is cold, but
crafty like a fox.
Yeah, exactly. But like the drawing thing, like at 5, she's doing crazy shit. Like this is when I knew that shit had gotten crazy. After I got the tattoo, now whenever she draws a picture of the family, I've got the tattoo. Like she's always incorporating, like, as life changes, she is
seeing the world and then drawing. Yeah.
Which is like a normal thing to do, but like
no, not even for artists. Like that is drawing from life, and like recognizing things and drawing them is not even like a normal artist skill. Like
but the crazy thing with Ronya is that she gets really agitated when she can't pull it off. Like when she can't do it quite right, and it's like on one hand, it's like, I have to learn how to make her feel better about that. But on the other hand, like having a sense of taste.
Oh, that will drive her to succeed.
At 5?
Yeah.
I don't know. That is crazy shit.
That's the thing. There's a lot of people that can draw, but having that extra thing where you're drawing poorly.
Exactly, like to goad you.
Right. It's the same thing when you go to American Idol and you watch those people who go up and they can sing, but they don't know that they can't sing bad, that they sing bad, like they can't hear themselves. Like having that extra level of being able to look at what you're doing and say, this isn't good.
Yeah.
Hating yourself, I guess, is basically what you need to have to be a successful artist.
Self-loathing.
Really hating everything you produce and thinking you're worthless.
And hating others who you imagine compete with you, even though they've never met with you.
It's true.
What are some of your favorite comedians, Val, in Romania? That is
You have that girl you're listening to right now constantly. What's her name?
I am obsessed with stand-up comedy right now. So do you have Spotify? Spotify, right? Yeah, right. As you listen, just get the music on there. I didn't really understand that it has like hundreds of stand-up comedy albums also. The comedy playlist will entertain you for weeks. And somebody you need to interface with immediately is Maria Bamford. She doesn't have any bad comedy. She only has the best comedy you've ever heard, album after album. And she does something that we try to do, which is that she is really frank about struggles with mental illness.
Yeah.
But she can encapsulate it, like she can communicate it in a funny way that is still respectful. And that is a fucking hard job.
My favorite type of joke is when someone tells a joke that you can tell is honest and you don't know if you should like hug them because you're sorry for their life or if you should laugh because they're making a joke. Like that kind of awkwardness I love.
Yeah, that line, she just defines it.
For me, I can't get enough Bill Burr.
You like Bill Burr?
Yeah, he's just a monster.
Oh, here you go.
Was this for me? Mike, what's the status of the back-in versus pull-in parking debate at Panera Kid headquarters, Matt in Indiana? I still think people who back in are monsters.
But this is the thing, it's like, but Kiko, a lot of times when we go to lunch, Kiko will drive.
Yeah.
And then I know when he backs in, you can just see Mike's face set like a death mask.
It bothers me. It bothers me, but he's driving, so I'm not going to say anything. He knows it. He understands that he's in the wrong. Can you tell us a bit about a recently played game, video, tabletop, card, etc., that blew away your expectations? What did this game do that upended your supposition? Why were you wary of it to begin with? He's making up some shit here. This is from Nesky in Fishtown.
Fishtown?
I don't know that that's
if
a real
it's a
place.
fish, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
So we are having a super good time with this First 15 show that we do
That's
on
true,
the tubes.
Yeah. Thank you for watching our YouTubes.
Yeah. Please.
We're the next Markiplier.
No. Yeah, both of us together
Yeah.
are maybe one sort of successful
You know what's funny?
person.
I was talking to, who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody
PewDiePie.
about PewDiePie.
Sure.
And I was like, I don't understand, like, so many viewers. And they're like, well, he's cute, and he has an accent.
Uh-oh.
We're fucked.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how we're going to make it in YouTubes.
It isn't going to happen. No, because PewDiePie was here, like backstage.
Yeah.
And then I was walking out with Brenna after my, lesser panel.
Yeah.
And I was like, Brenna, do you see that guy right there? And she's like, which one? And I was like, the guy, the one that's like sort of there. And she's like, yeah. And I said, he is basically the internet's Jesus Christ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that tier, like Jesus tier.
But yeah, we've been blown away by a couple games that we've had to play on the first, like Farming Simulator.
No.
I didn't expect that to be so rad.
Well, I didn't know that it would be so granular, or that it would let you like cooperatively farm. And I guess that maybe that isn't cool.
No, it's cool.
I think it's the best.
It's really cool.
I think it's amazing. But Josh, what's great about that show is that Josh picks the games for it. If it was just us, we would just choose the regular games we would play, and then we would sit there in 15 minutes of silence.
Right.
Right? But because he's choosing games that are sort of oblique, like even if it isn't something we would play normally, like we still...
Well, and sometimes it's stuff that we would avoid.
Exactly.
Like I would not buy Cabela's.
No.
Ever.
No, you wouldn't.
No.
But we saw, I don't think it's gone up yet, but there's a game called Deception, which is sort of like, it's weird. It's like you are planting traps, like you're sort of creating a trap environment and then luring people into it.
It's really weird.
But like, it's trying to be dark. Like there's a lot about like the imagery that is sort of malevolent, and like the palette is kind of spooked, and then it's like some kind of evil witch lady. But in practice, it looks like slapstick.
Yeah, because you're trying to create these chains of traps where one trap launches the guy into the next trap, which throws him into the next trap.
So here's an example. And it's like, because it's more than that. It's more than just like cutting them apart. It's like also humiliating them at the same time.
Yeah, I don't understand that part. It's really weird.
It's really nuts. And so imagine that we're standing at the base of a staircase, and then this person who thinks that he's going to be the motherfucking guy.
He's going to be the one to kill us.
Yeah, exactly. He's, oh, no, I'm going to get you. And then he comes closer to us, and then as he gets close, we kick him like Leonidas.
Yeah.
Like a Sparta-type motherfucking kick. He goes back. He gets hit by a huge swinging scythe, which knocks him onto a spring trap, which flings him into a bear trap, at which point a silly pumpkin mask falls on his head.
For no reason. And he stumbles around with the pumpkin mask on.
Yeah, and then he stumbles around,
Yeah.
and then we kick him into the first trap, and it just goes
starts the
like
whole thing
this.
again. Yeah, that game was awesome.
No, we had a blast.
I'd never even heard of it.
No, and part of it is that just that, we didn't choose those games.
Yeah, exactly. All right. How moist is Chris Straub?
Chris Straub is more flaky.
Yeah? This is from Michael in Seattle.
Well, he's on the sixth floor. If you want to sort of like
Sample
assess
this moisture?
Chris Straub's moisture levels.
Yeah.
Exactly. Go to the
Never
sixth floor.
thought of him as especially
and
moist.
just ask him. Just ask him point blank.
Yeah.
I want to know. What is your least favorite PA strip? Failing that, what particular joke did you just not like in Penny Arcade's history? This is from the Lord of Turtles in Ohio.
Wow. Such an honor.
Royalty today.
Let's see.
See, but my problem is that I don't actually remember any of the strips.
Yeah, I have a hard time. Once they're up, I empty the recycle bin in my brain, and like that whole thing is just gone.
Yeah, but my brain doesn't even have a recycle bin. Like as soon as it goes in there, I empty it.
Wow.
Like there isn't even like short-term memory at all.
Yeah.
It's like bad things that happened to me when I was 4 and like whatever horrible thing I'm dealing with now.
Yeah.
Those are the only 2 things I know about.
And mine is elementary school and then now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just the torture and then this. Let's see. There have been comics where there are definitely days where we go, that's a JPEG. But even then, we usually at least chuckle at it. Like, I can't think of one where we didn't like it and still put it up. Like, I'm not going to sit there for 3 hours and draw something
that you hate.
That I hate.
Right?
That doesn't happen. But there's comics definitely where it's like the end of the day and we haven't written anything. We're like, a comic has to go up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we make peace with some of them, but, we like them eventually. Jerry, what does augur you with my diamond mind even mean? I mean, like, for really, what are you even talking about? Jace Baker, Kingfisher, Oklahoma. Do you really want this, Jace Baker? Are you even, what's happening, Jace Baker of Kingfisher,
it's from
Oklahoma?
A strip, right?
Yeah, it's from a strip. It's like, it's when we made that strip about the sort of like aggressive attack poetry I used to do in the basement of that coffee shop.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
That's legit. I didn't make that up.
That was young Jerry.
Ugh. God, I hate him. Like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got out of these poetry slams in one piece.
I don't know why I liked you in high school. You were a real jerk.
Just entertainment.
Yeah, I think the main thing back then is, you just had a very high opinion of Jerry.
I was a fan.
You were a big fan of Jerry.
I thought he was doing it.
I don't think it was, bad. You definitely were doing some good stuff back then, but you liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too much. But yeah, it's like if you go in, but also here's the thing. It's like sometimes if you would perform at a place, they wouldn't pay you, but they would give you as much coffee as you wanted.
Sure.
Right? So we had gone to a place and we had like done a show and I had like done some of the poetry stuff. And then I just wanted to test it. Like, you have to test these things. And I was like, I can get any coffee I want. And they're like, yes. And I'm like, any coffee? And they're like, yes. And I said, I want a 14-shot mocha. Right?
Wow.
So then you get that, and then you come back out in
With
sort
your
of a
spirit animal.
In sort of a shamanic type prophetic state. No, I didn't die. I don't think.
I don't think you survived that car crash.
I'm going to consider it. But I did hallucinate.
Yeah.
I did hallucinate.
You talked to a spider monkey for a while?
No. There was a girl that I liked at school, and I was laying on the couch, like, just burning in my mind, just burning.
Wow.
And she was there all of a sudden, and then she gave me a magic card.
Nice.
I don't know. It worked for me.
Did you follow up on that?
No.
Oh. What does Chris Perkins smell like? Ryan in San Clemente.
Well, we sit at the end of the table.
Yeah, you'd have to ask Scott or Pat.
Yeah. They're the ones with the sort of nose on, like, Perkins experience.
How amazing was Perkins at Ack Inc. on? Yeah. Like, the gargoyles?
What the fuck was with these gargoyles?
He's a genius. Like, somebody was asking me the other day, when you have 2,000 people or whatever watching, is it hard to play D&D in front of that crowd? And I was like, when you were sitting at a table with Chris, like, all you see is Chris.
No, Chris has the hard job.
Chris has a very hard job.
Right, he is actually performing.
Yeah, I'm just playing Dungeons & Dragons.
That's right, he is performing for the audience. And I think that in typical sort of comedy fashion, we're trying to outperform each other.
I'm trying to make Scott laugh, right?
Exactly. And I'm trying to impress Pat.
Right. Yeah.
Pat, I too enjoy words.
I like to write things down.
Pat, I fancy myself something of an author myself.
How come he doesn't have a sense of smell?
Oh, he doesn't. So
Scott cannot smell. That's true.
So I'm going to ask Pat.
He would not know. Mm-hmm. He smells clean. You hugged him or something?
Soap.
There you go. Soap.
I guess
he's a clean guy.
Motherfucker washes all the time. Top 3 games for 2015 so far. Go.
So far?
Go.
Yeah, Rocket League has been pretty great.
Rocket League is beast. Rocket League is true beast. The Witcher is
Witcher.
the whole
is very
thing.
good.
The Witcher, you know what? Rocket League, The Witcher, and Gwent are
A game inside of a Witcher?
a game that digital people also play.
Yeah, Destiny is still my number one game.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just coming around. It's just more
it's
Destiny.
Taken King
right?
is coming out.
It's like the second course.
But I did play a lot of The Witcher. I played a lot of Dragon Age. Did that come out in 2015?
Earlier in the year.
That was earlier?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything else I played.
Yeah.
Yeah. I pretty much just played Destiny.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the shit that you have done over there. I don't know. You lost your shit for chord blorps.
Oh, yeah.
I think that
Call of Duty beta. Well, I've always been a fan of the Black Ops games in that series.
It's like that's like your Call of Duty.
Yeah,
it's like your Doctor.
It's not as slow as Rainbow Six. Like, it's not as tactical as R6, but it's not as ridiculous as Modern Warfare. Like, it's not as frantic. So
yeah.
I really love that new beta.
But I reserve the right to collapse Gwent and Witcher into one game and then seriously consider Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh, Siege looks so good.
So, but I haven't played enough of it yet to know. But
Yeah.
I definitely want that. I want the right to do that later.
I want to play that Star Wars Battlefront.
I guess people.
I don't want to watch the trailer anymore. I just want to play the game.
No. Apparently, people have played it at this show.
Is it playable here? Has someone played it? Raise your hand if you played it. Does it look like that? It does, and it runs smooth. Like,
Well, see,
I mean, God knows what they were running it on, but
and they're playing the
still.
PS4. I mean, they're playing like the console version too.
wow,
Oh shit!
that's gonna be good.
All right, hey, what's the deal with Jerry's Lookouts novel? So now I can talk about it. So
Oh yeah,
now that you announced with Mike
Yesterday.
Selenker that you're going to work with Lone Shark Games to do not just the Thornwatch game, but a set of 3 compatible games that all take place in the Ironwood for Ironwood Adventures.
yeah. Lookouts, Daughters, and Thornwatch are all gonna be games that
Right.
work together now, because they're being made by an actual game designer who ships games.
Wow.
Yeah.
For me, so I mean, I don't miss a post, and I don't miss, we write the strip, and it's because you guys create this. You create the external force that I need to actually be a writer at all. Like, my natural state is not to write.
You need a deadline.
3,000 words a day. I need a deadline, but a real deadline. I can't set the deadline. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, you even tried to you told Jeff, you're like, Jeff, give me a deadline. And that didn't work.
No, it doesn't work. I was like, Jeff, no, really, be mean. And he comes in and he's like, hey, do you have the chapter done? No, you don't have it, man.
God damn it, Jeff.
You don't have it. But if there's an actual game box and it's going to come out at a specific date.
Oh, Selenker will have a date for you.
And Selenker will also be mean.
Oh, yeah.
He will be mean. And I know I was talking to Pat Rothfuss just to help me, to basically Sherpa me through this process. And he will be mean to me also.
Yeah.
I guarantee
you need it. I thought your first chapter was awesome.
I enjoyed writing it. I would love to write more of those.
Yeah. I think that world is going to get very cool with this game. Your PTA outing earlier this year was really inspiring to see. Has anything come from that? Are you going on tour? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, is it okay to talk about that thing we're going to do?
I think so.
I think so. So we have this YouTube channel now, and we're putting out a bunch of cool stuff. One of the new shows that we're going to launch is Parental Guidance, which will just be us answering questions like I did at that PTA thing for people who have questions about their kids playing games, because it's confusing, right?
Yeah, I mean, we may not need it as much as some people do.
Right.
I imagine we can answer most of those questions for ourselves, or we're in a position to answer them for other people. But
yeah,
that PTA thing just exposed how much they need.
Well, you want to hear something interesting? So Penny Arcade is still doing really well. We've got tons of hits, and we get the tracks or whatever.
Webs
are great. That PTA post I did was exponentially, by 100 times, it got bigger than any comic, any news post, anything else we've ever done. Right?
And we've been around for 20 years. So
yeah. So I think people need help with learning how to be a parent and a gamer.
Right. But see, that's the trick.
Right.
There's sort of a double bind if you're a parent, and that's if you ask for help, you're bad.
Well, yeah, and some of these questions,
right? Because you're just supposed to know this.
You're
shit.
supposed to know all this stuff.
It's supposed to be like genetically encoded, and it's not like that at all.
Well, especially I think it's frustrating when your kids are doing stuff that you don't understand. You know,
exactly, and you can't admit that you don't understand.
Right, but you have to still parent it somehow. So, some of these questions, it was a pretty small group, and I think they felt comfortable saying things like, my kid is playing this game that he said is free, but now he's asking for money. What is he buying? To us, that is so obvious, but to a lot of parents, they don't understand that, and they don't know who to ask.
They don't understand, and listen, and let's be honest, this is reasonable shit. They don't understand how something can be free and expensive.
Yeah.
It's not their fault.
No. So yeah, we're going to be doing a lot more of that in the future.
What single act has one of your children done that terrified you most as a parent? Mike in Barbados. Piracy.
Really? Like on the high seas?
Well, no, it's like I thought he was over at his friend Theo's house. Mm-hmm. And he was actually robbing ships in the Spanish Main.
Plundering.
Yeah. And I told him. I said, son, we've got 3 rules in this house.
No piracy? I don't know what the other 2 are.
Yeah.
Well, I talked about it before. There was a time where Noah ran off in Disneyland, and we lost him for like 15 minutes.
So you lost him for 3 millennia.
For eternity, basically. Like when you're running from ride to ride and going into bathrooms, like throwing open stalls trying to find your kid, it's forever. You haven't heard that story? So we were at California Adventure. We came off of a ride, and he had been hanging out with my mom and his older brother, and he just, one of those things where you turn around to get ice cream, and then you turn around, and he decided to leave. And so we're there, and to their credit, Disney is fucking incredible. Oh my God, there's this guy there, big guy, beard, like security dude. Kara's crying, I'm a mess. He grabs us, and he's like, I'm gonna find your kid. And I said to him, I was like, How can you promise me that?
Don't lie to me, wizard.
Yeah, I said, don't tell me that. Look at this park. How can you tell me that? And the guy goes, we haven't lost a kid in 50 years, and we're not going to lose a kid today. Yeah. And they found him. He's like, I understand that you, talking to me, he's like, I understand you want to go look. Go look. Your wife's going to stay here with me. And so I'm running around, and by the time I came back, they had him. He had wandered off, but then he was smart enough. How old was he, honey? Like 4? 3? He walked back to our hotel and went to the front desk. And he's like, hey, I'm here.
See, this is a good point.
Yeah, and I did a bunch of research afterwards, and it's true. They have not lost a kid. They actually, on Main Street of Disneyland, behind the sort of facade, there is a place for lost children that is just a place where they go and play games. They've got characters there and staff members. And if you are lost, they take you there and you just have a great time at Disneyland until your parents come and find you. It's incredible. I guess so, yeah.
My name is Noah Krahulik. We're staying here for 4 days.
Yeah, I'm up on the 4th floor and my parents don't know where I am.
Brenna, are you up there? Can you think of anything scary Elliot's ever done? Well, here, tell me one thing, and then I'll try to relate it. Because he is a very fearful young man and often just reads in his room. Oh, yeah, he did try to hang
his sister.
He did try to hang his sister with a makeshift garrote. She was going to slide down the slide, and I think her head would have just come off like a daisy.
Just pop.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, kids.
No, when I was young, when he was much younger, he was over by the front door, and he was looking away from me, and then he turned around to me, and his face was just covered in blood. Just all over his mouth, on his cheek, like on his ear, just some blood coming out of his eye. And it was not blood.
Oh.
He had gotten into a bunch of Brenna's makeup.
Oh. That must have been terrifying.
But but I went over and it's like, ah! And then I got closer, and then I saw that he had like a little brush. And then he was just, and I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Have you ever done this thing where they're hurt real bad, but you have to be like, oh, you look fine. Like, I remember Gabe had got his thumb, like, you know those shower doors, like a glass shower door? There's that, like, pinchy part. It tore his thumbnail off. It was just gone. And I remember looking at it going, ah! But then be like, okay, this is fine. Everybody's going to be okay. Whew. All right. If you could share one piece of work, whether a painting, a book, a game, a movie, or whatever, to all the people of the world for them to experience, what would it be, Wayne in Seattle? A piece that we make?
Any piece.
Is a piece of art?
Yeah, just something that we think is important.
What would you share?
What would you share?
What would you share, Jerry?
Coca-Cola Classic. Let's see. Out of all this stuff, there's so much stimuli out there. I don't know. I think because I just get to do it. I just get to make somebody experience it.
Yeah, you get to say, this is a thing I love. Everyone has to watch it.
And love
or
it also.
Or see it.
Or face punishment.
Well, not necessarily love it, but at least given the chance to see it, maybe they would also love it, right?
I think Hurly Burly is probably my favorite movie.
I've never heard of that.
Exactly. But no, you have to watch it. I've been granted this power. I've been granted this power by Wayne in Seattle. It's from a play, and it's just the dialogue. And friendships are very complicated, and they're complicated in a way that even movies about friendship don't encroach on.
Yeah.
And it is. You know how occasionally some things are said to get real. It's pretty much real from the beginning to the end, and it's just gruesome.
I think I would just make everyone watch Firefly. Like, I just think it deserved better. Like,
I've liked most of your comic miniseries.
Thanks.
Well, see, it's not a red envelope, so we know that it might end good.
Yeah.
But my favorite will always and forever be Paint the Line 2.
Yeah.
Is there? All right, that's cool. Is there any chance? So I just want to verify this, Michael. So there was a period of time where we gave the strip over to like 8 comics about Cold War ping pong.
Yeah, we did that.
That happened?
We did do that.
That's in our archive. Well, I'm glad you think so.
It worked out okay, yeah.
Well, here, so is there any chance that it will ever be revisited? We certainly could. I didn't know anyone liked it. So
we know that. We know the story for Paint the Line 1.
No, exactly. So it isn't Paint the Line 2 just as a joke. Right? The first Paint the Line is with Gabe and Tycho as younger. They're just coming up on the scene.
Yeah.
War has already been replaced internationally by ping pong. But the US ping pong team is destroyed by a terrorist attack on the way to the match. And so the trainees have to step up.
It's very space camp.
It's space camp, but with war.
Right.
And then
ping pong.
The third movie, right, because Tycho is destroyed in orbit, right? The third movie is the Soviets are able to reclaim some of his DNA, and they create a cyborg version of Tycho that Gabe has to contend with.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good.
This is for you. Jerry.
Oh.
You have occasionally suggested in posts that your relationship to your body is like that of an insect to its exoskeleton, an odd carapace in which you presently reside. I'm curious, if you do not think you are identical to your corporeal organism,
I love this person.
A brain, a soul, a stream of consciousness? Or am I overthinking this and you were just hinting at the fact that I am actually addressing this question to the alien parasite that has long used Tycho Brahe as his generous host? Mike, what's your favorite color? This is from John in England. My favorite color is blue.
If I had to define it, I would say that I am a localized phenomenon.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
What's your favorite color?
Blue. Yeah.
You'd think I would get good at opening them.
You'd think.
Eventually. What would be Excalibur's launch titles? This is from Eugenio and Pablo in Mexico.
What?
I think this is some inside baseball. I think they are making a reference to our strips that we have forgotten. And now I feel super bad.
Let's just move on.
But I told you I don't remember any of them. no.
That was such a cool idea.
Yeah. So apparently we conceived of a console where the games are swords and they're placed in the top of a kind of digital stone.
And what's the question then?
Yeah. So what would be the launch titles?
Oh. Well, I don't think of them as being like any video game can run on Excalibur.
Yeah,
but it
exactly.
Just has to be put on a sword.
You just put it on the sword.
Yeah.
It's fine.
To Mike, how is Thornwatch progressing? Oh, I just answered. We just talked about this. Thornwatch is now a part of a trilogy of games that take place in the
it's a
Ironwood.
triptych of hive ruins.
It's a triptych of hive ruins. Yeah, Thornwatch is about to get way cooler.
How do you think video game audiences are reacting to the growing board game scene, and how do you think board games are affecting video games? Well, occasionally board games affect video games by being slapdash, shitty reproductions.
Yeah,
that
but
does happen
sometimes you
from
get
time
something
to time.
like Card Hunter, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think the cross-pollination is better than it's ever been.
Oh yeah.
And I know that a lot of times when you're thinking about making a game, like I read an article about the new XCOM that Jake Solomon did, where that's completely all the prototyping. That game was a board game before it was a video game. Like that prototyping, it turns out that making games on paper is way cheaper. It's way cheaper, right? So the cross-pollination, I think, is super strong.
And I
right
love
now.
the combinations too. Like we tried that. What's it called? Golem Arcana.
Yes.
It's like a miniature game that you also have an iPad that keeps track of like health and spells and.
Yeah. I mean, it's happening a lot, and that's a mission. That's a mission that we have for PAX, even from the very first PAX, is that we put
together,
video games and board games by each other and say, wow, there's a lot of similarities between those two. Maybe you would like the other one.
This is a red envelope.
Oh no.
Doesn't seem that bad. As I've gotten older, the fire and desire to play video games has slowly dimmed. I used to play some every night after work, but the past couple of years have seen that reduced to not turning on my computer in the past couple of months, or even knowing where my Xbox controllers are. Oof. What games and system would you pick up to rekindle that fire? Is it one of many sequels, or is it something original out there that just amazes you? This is from Ben C. He says the original Half-Life was the thing that like did it for him in the beginning.
So in that sort of shooter.
So he's not liking the video games anymore.
Well, if what he really likes primarily is shooters, a lot of games come out that aren't that way.
Yeah, but if you're talking about like a story-driven shooter, I mean, he could try something like Dishonored, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that has sort of a Half-Life heritage.
Yeah, there's definitely a path there. I mean, Deus Ex would be another thing.
Yeah.
So what I would try to do, if it's not quite working for him, if maybe what he wants is a little bit more complexity, I would say move into Dishonored to Deus Ex type thing, where there's these other mechanics layered on and underneath the.
And honestly,
shooter.
like it gets a bad rap, but
also I would get a computer. I would play games on a computer.
Oh, really? I was just say the opposite. I would say get a console.
Yeah, see, for me, it's like when I go up and I check out a lot of the stuff that's in like Indie Mega Booth or a lot of the stuff that's around there, like if you want to get exposure to a lot of really interesting, weird ideas, I think maybe he wants novelty. Like maybe he's just reached like the BDSM phase of his
needs
gaming.
the indie games.
Right?
He just wants to get punched in the face.
Yeah. Dark Souls.
There you go.
To either Mike or Jerry, what indie games are you into right now? Example, Chroma Squad. Chroma Squad is actually super cool. Do you know about Chroma Squad? Chroma Squad, imagine a tactical game based on the Power Rangers, where you get to make all of your Power Rangers and they work together to beat up monsters, but you're doing it on a set because you're actually filming a show about the Power Rangers. Yeah, right? How indie is that shit?
I'm playing a lot of Dungeon of the Endless again. It just came out on iOS.
Oh, that's right.
Which is a great place to play it.
No, and I love that team.
Yeah.
For me, I just wrapped up The Witcher, and that is solid. But for me, what I really like right now is Card Hunter. Card Hunter is old. Like, it's not new at all. It's so old that I can't get Mike to even look at it. But
I played it.
Yeah, exactly. You did it. You know that it's cool. But they actually came back through and made the entire game beginning to end cooperative. So you can actually have a character, and then all those cool tactical decisions are now decisions you're making with your friend, and it is just incredible. Like I think I think just playing it in co-op makes it a twice as good game.
It's my understanding that Tycho is the writer of the Penny Arcade strip. Tycho also writes the majority of the news posts, which consist of these extremely eloquent, precisely articulated sentences that are almost maze-like in how highbrow, Jesus Christ, and how they are constructed. I look at this, and then I look at the comic it's attached to, and the writing is Dick Wang, Dick Fart, Wang Lol. How does this happen?
Does he mean lol like laugh out loud, or does he mean it's about Lego?
He means laugh out loud,
okay.
lol. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why it's not okay to like making dumb shit. Like, I find a lot of pleasure in making dumb stuff.
Oh, yeah. And for us, it's like how dumb we can make it. Like, after we write a strip that I really like, I will say out loud, that's bullshit. Like, I say, that is awful. But we made it on purpose. Like, we're often like, it's like the opposite of a wind tunnel.
Right.
Like, we're going in and specifically trying to make it nasty.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a weird thing where we like things that are so bad. Like, for us, Witchalock. The Witchalock series is supposed to be horrible, but we love it. Like, Wand Claws? That's really dumb.
Triple
Wand Claws, like on a Ferrari or whatever. That, I don't know. I think that separately, we sort of have different styles, but when we work together on something, it ends up being Penny Arcade.
It's like Scat Cat and Paula Abdul.
It is. You take 2 steps forward, and I take 2 steps back. That was a track.
It ain't friction. All right.
It's a natural fact.
Okay, sorry. 2-part question. Assuming money is no object, what is your dream car for your daily commute? And hypothetically, later in life, assuming you can't or don't want to drive, what is your dream car to be chauffeured around in?
Neither of us are really car people.
Yeah, I'm not super enthusiastic about cars. But
I like cars more than you do.
Indeed. The BMW i3 is pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah, we both actually have the same car. You bought one, and I was like, that's a cool car. And I bought the same one.
And you were like, is it okay if I get the same car? And
I did. I called him, and I was like, can I buy the same car you have? Is that weird?
That's not a thing. It's not like, you have the same car after Labor Day. I mean, it's just like...
Well, I don't know if you were like, this is my car.
No, I don't think it works like that.
But yeah, it's a great car. You just plug it in at night into a wall, and then you drive around all day.
Yeah. What is your dream car to be chauffeured around in? It would be an artificially intelligent BMW i3.
I'll take any kind of motorcycle.
I just heard Born to be Wild, like it just started.
Yeah.
In my head.
See, too soon.
We were so close.
So close to motorcycles.
Oh my God.
Will you kill yourself? Then the company will crumble to dust.
You'll obliterate 20 jobs because you had fun for 3 seconds. When will the next volume of the Penny Arcade books be released? It's written.
Yeah, it's written. The cover's done.
Yeah, it's just layout and printing.
Yeah,
right now.
I think it's on its way shortly.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the.
Have we released the title?
I don't know if we released the title. The title right now is The Fall of Penny Arcade.
Yeah.
Hey, why does Robert Kachu refuse to do Q&As? Was it something we did wrong? No, he did. One year he did the Q&A, didn't he?
He did do a Q&A. I mean, the reality is that he's just super busy.
Oh, yeah. He is like a fucking proton.
Yeah.
Like, every now and then I'll see him back here. Like, he'll come to see us before a panel, and he's sitting down. It's probably the only time he's sat down all day, and what he's doing is repinning his lanyard.
Yeah, and then he's just back out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for Robert, it's just a matter of time. Another Q&A. Yeah, I mean, we can tell him, and I don't know, honestly, if you're a Club Penny Arcade member, you have access to some pretty cool stuff. That's all I'll say.
Following the Star Wars continuum metempsychosis, I'm going to have to look that one up, CD and Redmond Wa. Having you been reading the new Star, I don't know, that's just what it says. Presumably, have you been reading the new Star Wars novels? I'm afraid to read Star Wars novels now.
I haven't read a Star Wars novel in a long time. I mean, it's all changing, right? Like everything that I read for 15 years or whatever, they just kicked into the shitter. Like everything I thought I knew about Mandalorians, I guess the Yuzong Vong aren't real now. I don't know. Like, is any of that?
Well, exactly. Like they put it all into sort of like a quantum state, and like I don't know if I can trust it. Like I suspect that they'll be good stewards of it.
Yeah, I love the idea that there is one continuity now.
Yeah,
I'll jump back in probably with some new books here when the movie comes out.
Yeah, I
haven't read for a while.
Yeah, I'll watch the movie, and but I think that'll probably be the way I mostly hook up with.
I switched. So I read to like relax, and so I tend to read shit novels. Which is why I like anything with like the Millennium Falcon.
You read specifically like to put your mind into sort of like a
just to like
type
stop
state.
thinking.
Yeah.
And so now I'm reading the Harry Dresden novels. He's a wizard and a private detective.
Deal with it.
Deal with it.
Each of you is going to be trapped alone on a desert island for the rest of your respective lives.
Uh-oh.
Thanks for the heads up, I guess.
Yeah.
You may choose 3 cultural objects, books, games, albums, movies, for your counterpart to have as their sole their counterpart.
Oh, we choose for the counterpart?
For their sole entertainment of what remains of their time on Earth. What do you choose?
3 things?
Yeah, 3 things. Here, so I've got it. I've got you set up. Okay, ready?
You're going to hook me up.
I'm going to hook you up.
I arrive on the desert island. There's a box.
There's a
It's got
box.
my name on it.
That's right.
For the rest of your life. Enjoy.
That's right. Inside the box, you open it up. There is the collected works of Simon and Garfunkel.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
A sharp machete.
Okay.
And the internet.
The whole internet is in this box?
Yeah, it's in there.
Wow.
Right?
That's pretty great.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah. Let's see. You arrive on your desert island. You open it up. Package of saltines. It's just a one thing of them.
One sleeve or one? Okay.
One sleeve of saltines.
So not even like the 4 sleeves that come in the box.
No.
If you ate the other 3 sleeves.
Yeah, I did.
While packing.
While I was putting them in there.
Nice. That's great.
There's like...
I already know it sucks.
No, it's going to get better from there because I was like, oh, it's got to be better than the saltines. I don't know what kind of music you like. So Fast Car, Tracy Chapman, just Fast Car, just the one
single?
song. You got to put it on repeat.
The single?
Yeah, it's a single, but no cassette tape player. And then, obviously, finally, I give you a copy of Ice Age 2. So...
Not even like Madagascar?
Yeah, nothing to watch it on.
Here, so hang on a second.
It's a Blu-ray.
Fuck you. One more question. I'll just put the Blu-ray on the saltine.
Yeah. You're going to be fine. Jesus, that's a long last question. All right, well, we've got 28 seconds. Tycho, you recently wrote a post about how the internet is a net loss. You were speaking about the situation with Joss Whedon and how people on the internet can be pretty awful. But my question isn't really about the situation with Joss Whedon, the internet, as much as it was the analogy you made in the article relating to your evangelical Christian past.
Oh.
As an evangelical Christian and an avid Penny Arcade fan, I'd like to understand what happened inside your family when you rejected Judeo-Christian principles, because I know I'll be a father one day, and maybe my own child may hold different beliefs than me. Is there anything you wish your parents had understood about your decisions that could have made a more positive and lasting impression on you? Thank you for being awesome. You too, Gabe. This is from Weston in Portland. You have 15 seconds.
No, I can help you out, man. Listen,
explain your relationship to God.
It's okay. So the thing that you have to keep in mind when you're dealing with this person that you made, you have a responsibility to try to understand where they're coming from, even if they do something really weird with their skin or hair. Rejecting that stuff was not rejecting my mom, and it wasn't rejecting my family. They were 2 separate things.
Sure.
And that's what you have to keep in mind. The rejection is not for you. You can't personalize. You're not Jesus fucking Christ. You know what I mean?
But that's not to say that your family isn't going to take it that way.
No,
it's
no.
a rejection, right?
They would, because that's something we all do together. We all believe in this imaginary guy. Hey, that's what we do on Sundays. Woo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they're not rejecting you. They are trying to become a whole person on their own terms. And sometimes you may not like what that means. One last thing. Please direct your attention to the incredible sign language people. Appreciate them, if you would.
Thank you.
Nowadays, everybody want to talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips. It's just a bunch of gibberish, and motherfuckers act like they forgot about Dre. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been PAX.
We get out of here.